closing trades live on ET now. Straight off, let's connect with Mr. S. Vardarajan, Director of Finance with BPCL. BPCL has just come out with numbers. Before I connect with him, let me just recap those numbers. For the quarter gone by, there's an operating loss of 8837 crores, sales at 54523, that's 54,000 crore. GRMs are impressive, and the crude throughput was at 5.91 million versus 5.2 million tons. Mr. Vardarajan, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. Fat loss, how much of the loss what you've reported for the quarter gone by was a function of under recovery?
Yeah, good afternoon. I think the numbers of under recoveries as given is around 11,627 crores is the gross under recovery for the quarter on the three sensitive products. This is on HSD, SKO and LPG. Of this, almost around 31.5% has been borne by the upstream, which is a figure of 3,663 crores. So the net under recovery which has been absorbed by BPCL on these three products is almost around 7,965 crores. That's the impact on the losses.
Right, but what you've reported for the quarter gone by is about 8,837
crores. Yeah,
we
have shown a loss of 8,837 crores. One is, of course, the main impact is of the net under recovery of almost 7,965 crores. Okay. Also because of the very steep depreciation in the rupee, which has moved up from almost around 51 levels to 55, 56 levels, there has been a forex loss of almost around 1,611 crores. So these are the two main contributions. Of course, even in MS, for part of the period, we were not able to recover the full market prices. And to the extent in MS also, we have had absorption of almost around 590 crores during the quarter.
For the quarter gone by, the numbers what you've reported, are they for your India business or they also are capturing in some upside from your global E&P business?
No. This is purely what we have discussed is only the India portions of BPCL operations. Yeah.
So at the consolidated level, how different the picture could look?
Consolidated level, the losses are slightly higher because of the group companies' numbers which are there. But clearly, these are the numbers which reflect the BPCL operations during the first quarter.
Out of the under recovery of 7,500, 7,700 crore which you mentioned, yeah, how much do you think will be compensated by the government?
Yeah, I think if you see the first quarter, it was almost similar to what it was in the during 11-12, where the under recoveries have been of a very high magnitude. And projecting this first quarter numbers and taking the current under recoveries into account, it's going to be at a level which is going to be much higher than the 33,000 crores which was there last year. So last year also we had finally got 100% compensation. And with this kind of numbers, we are hoping that by the end of the year, the government would announce 100% compensation for us, taking into account the kind of subsidy elements which are quite high.
With the 8,800 crore operating loss, no visible price hike in petrol or diesel, do you have enough working capital in order to fund your daily operations?
Yeah, I think currently we are operating fairly okay as far as the working capital is concerned, but clearly the non-compensation of these high amounts will put a stress on the working capital as we move along, and we are hoping that the compensations would come in much quicker than what is expected.
For the quarter gone by, have you also reported a crude inventory loss? Because what I understand is that for Q1, crude prices were down significantly from Q4 levels.
Yeah, actually we have not shown any crude losses separately because it gets into the gross margin. And as you know, the gross margin has been shown for the quarter, which is almost around $2.62 a barrel compared to around 2.29 or something, which was there in the first quarter of the last year. And for the crude write-downs which have happened is part of the process. And one thing which has worked in our favor is also that in March end we had inventory levels which are substantially lower. So as such, the write-downs have been manageable during the quarter when the crude prices have actually gone down in April, May, June. And one thing which has worked in our favor is also that in March end we had inventory levels which are substantially lower. So as such, the write-downs have been manageable during the quarter when the crude prices have actually gone down in April, May, June. So it's part of the GRMs, and the GRMs are positive at $2.62 a barrel for BPCL.
Right. Final question. Now that crude prices have appreciated, do you expect to report expansion in your GRMs, which is gross refining margins?
Yeah, I think it's a cycle. And as you have rightly mentioned, during the past few days, the crude has climbed back to somewhere around $110 a barrel. And clearly it would reflect on the kind of purchases made earlier and the inventories carried through. And the impact would reflect in the margins as we move into the second quarter.
Mr. Vardarajan, really appreciate your time and thank you.